Our next guest is an incredibly talented actress. She blows my mind, who currently stars in the third installment of the X horror film trilogy, MaXXXine with 3 X's.
Whatever horror happened here 300 years ago, it's not over. Satan has come back to make me pay for my greatest sin. The sin of living.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Amazing! MaXXXine is in theaters now. Please help me welcome Mia Goth. So, this is my first time guest hosting, and this is your first time?
Yeah, this is my first time being a guest. But I just had a martini, so I feel a little better now. I feel ready, I feel warmed up, I feel good.
Okay, good. I'm a martini behind. I think you're phenomenal. I remember, seeing this movie, I just kept thinking of Liv Ullmann. I just love how much you do with so little. And I just am, you got a future ahead of you, kid. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. You're in great hands, clearly. I have a butt ton of experience after having one guest behind my belt.
How's it going so far?
You know what? It is really fun. This is a great audience. They're gonna send you a lot of love. Yeah.
I was watching you on the screen back in my green room, and you look like you've been doing this for years.
Oh my gosh, you just fake it till you make it. But it's a great audience for me. MaXXXine, which you produced, is so... Anyway, I have a lot to talk about it, but I'm not the only one that is kind of speechless. Stephen King freaked out about it. I know we have a tweet. Oh, here. Look at that.
What? I know, it's amazing. It's such an honor. I'm such a huge fan of his writing, and the fact that he even knows that, you know, this trilogy exists, and it's a trip. It's amazing.
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, that too.
I always have to watch the pronunciation. But he's also been praising it nonstop, this trilogy.
Yeah, him and Ty have a very special relationship too, which is cool to witness. Yeah, and he's been a huge fan of this trilogy, and it's amazing.
Have you produced it from the beginning, from X?
No, not from X. From X, I was an actor. I played MaXXXine and older Pearl, and then once we finally got around to shooting Pearl, I became an executive producer and a writer, and then a producer.
Yeah, when I first saw X, I was a little bit, my daughter is here, I was a little bit stoned. Sorry. But I definitely, for a quick second, thought that, my thought was like, oh, well, they couldn't find an actual older body to have these lovemaking scenes. It took me a long time to realize, oh my God, that is the woman that's MaXXXine is also Pearl. And it blew my mind, and I was so blown. Here you are as Pearl in X. I mean, still stunning, but incredible to see this woman get her desires fulfilled. No, but for real.
When we were shooting those days when Older Pearl was on set, I mean, those were crazy. It was so intense. I'd never experienced anything like that. I mean, there were days where I would arrive on set at 7 a.m. and then I would be in makeup for about 10 hours, and then we would shoot a 12-hour day, so that by the end of it, I was going home at 7 a.m. the following day. But I loved it. I wanted that. And I think you need an actor that wants that sort of challenge to like really commit to something like that. And I was. And you know, when we were shooting that, it was at the height of COVID. We went down to New Zealand, and we really didn't think anyone was going to. Well, I didn't. I mean, I didn't think about the result of it at all. I was just like very much in the moment of it all. And so the fact that people have watched it and they've responded the way they have has just been really cool to witness.
It's like the horror movie you want to see at a drive-in, like that. And it just feels like everyone, those communal screams, and also it just feels like it's attempting to do something a little bit like deeper than some other ones. I mean, I loved it. I'm also very surprised right now to hear your accent, because you have such a dropped-in American accent, so it's pretty crazy.
Well,
I didn't know. I didn't know.
well, thank you, Kathryn.
Well, where did you grow up?
Well, it's a bit of a long story. So I was born in London, and then when I was 2 weeks old, we moved to Rio. And then my mum's Brazilian. And then we lived in Rio for a couple of years, and then we moved back to London, and then we moved to Rio again, and then we moved to London. And then we moved to Canada. My dad's Canadian. And in that year that we were living in Canada in Nova Scotia, I went to 6 schools. And in that time, that's where I dropped math. I lost it and I never picked back up again. It was gone from that point. And then my mum asked me, she's like, Mia, Canada's not working out. Do you want to go back to Rio or do you want to go to London? You know, if you ask your 10-year-old that, she's going to say, well, at least I did. I was like, Rio. and then that didn't work out. And then my mum said, we're going back to London. And then that's where I spent my teenage years. And then I came out to LA after that.
Did you come out like wanting to be an actor? Or did you come out here with like MaXXXine?
Yeah, I came out here when I was 19. And the first place I stayed was in this little hotel, which, funnily enough, I just drove past that hotel on my way to the MaXXXine premiere. So that felt very full circle, I guess. And then there was that MaXXXine billboard that was on Sunset for a little while. But yeah, I mean, I've gone on tons of auditions. In one of the very first auditions that I went for, I was playing a leopard at night, and then I was playing a model in the day.
Of course.
As you do. It was all, but looking back on it, it was very dodgy, and it didn't, you know, I wouldn't recommend it. And that movie never actually happened.
Oh, really?
Thank you.
Mia, I think you're incredible. I'm so excited to see where you go in all of your next chapters. And there is something so precious about a long collaboration with somebody, and this is a really special trilogy, really fun, really scary, and I hope you guys see this movie. It's really good. So, thank you so much. We did it!
We did it!
We did